Dan Gaffney here, and on the phone is Dan Simon from Dan White and Associates. And Dan, good morning. There's some, as you called it, market volatility going on. So,
good morning.
Good morning. A good time, you said, to talk about diversifying your income streams. Well, let's talk about that and how that can be done.
Yeah, for sure. This is something we talk about in our office all the time. But given, current world events, how the markets are reacting, oil prices and all that fun stuff, I thought it'd be really important to discuss, one of the biggest risks that I think retirees face is depending entirely on the stock market to generate their retirement income. For many Americans, Social Security makes up a large chunk of their retirement income, but then they're relying on their assets, which more often than not are tied to the stock market. And, while stocks are an excellent tool for long-term growth, they're also volatile. And right now we're in a period of time where, markets are going up and down, sometimes dramatically over the course of, one trading session. And, that volatility, when, persistent, can be a serious problem when you're withdrawing income from your portfolio. While you're still working and contributing to those accounts, market downturns can actually be helpful because ultimately what you're doing is buying investments at a lower price, dollar cost averaging into the market. But in retirement, the situation really kind of flips around because if the market drops, you're forced to sell investments to generate income. You may be actually selling at a lost position. This creates something called sequence of return risk, where early market losses combined with withdrawals can permanently damage a retirement portfolio. So, if the market were to decline 20% and you still need to withdraw 4 to 5% of your income for income, that portfolio may effectively be down 25% or even more, making it harder to recover. So that's why I believe it's really important in retirement to have multiple income sources such as Social Security, pensions if you're fortunate, secured or guaranteed income products, dividend or interest income, and then ultimately leveraging the market, those investment portfolios for long-term growth, larger expenses maybe down the road, or potentially for wealth transfer. So by combining stable income sources with growth in investments, retirements can ultimately try to reduce the pressure to sell assets during market downturns to create a more reliable retirement paycheck.
Yeah. And these are things you should talk to Dan White and Associates about. And if you'd like to meet with them, initial meeting, this would be great. You'd love to have them do that. Dan Simon, how do we reach Dan White and Associates?
So you reach the Delaware office, 302-449-0111. And, all of our consultations are complimentary, and we'd love the opportunity to see what we can do to help.
Thank you, Dan. Dan Simon, Dan White and Associates at 302-449-0111. Dan White and Associates.